Good morning once again. This is Mr. Bevan here. We're doing our last lesson today and looking at Harriet Tubman, looking at the idea of slave resistance in the United States. Yesterday, we talked about the Underground Railroad. You read a little bit about that. And the role Harriet Tubman played a very significant role in the Underground Railroad. But something else about Harriet Tubman, not surprising in knowing what you've learned so far, is that she did a lot more to try to end slavery, the idea of one human owning another in this country, by also being part of the Civil War. Now, this was a war fought, and we'll be learning about later, between the northern states of the United States and the southern states. Both these sides had certain reasons for being engaged in this war, but the historians look at this as that this was a war that really did center on the issue of slavery, and Harriet Tubman played a very significant role in the Civil War. That's where a lot of what you'll be doing today will focus on, is Harriet Tubman's role in the Civil War. So just to get started with that, I'm going to share my screen with you once again. As we've been doing for the last couple of days. And you should see right now a map of exactly what Harriet Tubman was involved in the Civil War. Harriet Tubman served in the Union Army under the, she was part of a regiment commanded by General James Montgomery during the Civil War. And she was, it's not surprising, she did not play a small role. She played a very significant role in terms of her leadership, in terms of her desire to end the idea of one human owning another, as where she helped to free many slaves through her work in the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman also was part of a raid by Union troops during the Civil War. And as you see here in this caption above the map, freed more than 700 slaves during that raid. She, in fact, led this attack, and was the significant fact, as you'll read today, was the very first woman in history to lead a military operation. For this raid to have been successful, there was a certain amount of information that needed to be gathered, which involved some spying on Harriet's part, where she had learned about Confederate or Southern troop movements in this area known as the Combahee, that's pronounced Combahee River, in South Carolina. And spies, those who operated as spies, whether it was the American Revolution or Civil War, that was a very risky thing to be involved in. Because being caught, spies were not treated very kindly. Spying was usually met with the ultimate punishment. So Harriet Tubman, again, risking everything to achieve her goal of ending the idea of slavery in the United States. So you're going to read about Harriet's leading this raid of Union troops on the Combahee in South Carolina. The reading is, in fact, right here, as you should see on your screen. But what you do have here is another clip from the movie Harriet, which I really recommend you see if you get the chance, and you'll have a chance. Now being obviously home for all this time, but this is it's a really good movie, and you can learn a lot of history in the same token. So it's a great deal. But right here, you'll see in the document itself a link to the clip from the movie Harriet that will show you what took place in this raid on the Combahee River. So you'll be reading this. I would recommend you watch the video first, because that will set the tone for you, and then you'll read through the story of it, and you can see a picture here of Harriet. And at the end, your culminating activity, your last activity for this 3-day experience and learning about Harriet Tubman, as it says here, you've looked at a lot of different sources, reading sources, video sources, and in using these various sources, your question will be, there have been a lot of words that could describe Harriet Tubman as a person with courage, or someone who exhibited heroism and leadership. So what your task will be is, using these sources that you've looked at this week, describe how Harriet Tubman was in fact all three of these things, and use examples from the reading and video sources to support your answer. So let's go back to our home screen, as I call it. And you'll see me again. Yep, there I am. So again, this is the last of 3 activities you've been involved in looking at Harriet Tubman. And I think this last one is probably something that, even though some of you may have known a little about Harriet Tubman, may have not have known this, the role she played in the Civil War. Not just as a stand-behind player, but as somebody who stepped up into a leadership role. So have a good day with the good time with the reading and the video clip. Watch the movie Harriet. It really is something you should see. So this is my last one for now. I hope I'll be sharing something with you again soon. Take care, guys.